Tell me, have you ever struggled with your speech? Have you ever choked on a story? Have you ever wondered whether the reason you struggle has got little to do with the listeners or with the story, and more to do with you and your ability to speak? I have. One day, my husband said to me provocatively, "You may speak 6 languages, but have nothing interesting to say in any of them." One day, my boss said to me, "Your public speaking needs work. Your voice is stress-inducing." One day, when casually chatting with friends about maternity, I could not speak a word. One day, when practicing this very speech, my son Oscar overheard me and later said to his father, "She sounded awful, Daddy. She sounded like a priest." So, when I am not at loss for words, my voice is stress-inducing. When I am not actually silent, I sound awful. So then it struck me. You cannot speak comfortably about any story until such time as you are truly comfortable with your own story. So listeners, come with me on my journey towards learning to speak. Lend me your ears, and I'll tell you my story. And perhaps you can help me overcome my struggle with speech. Over the course of 10 years, the 6 deaths of 6 family members have made me lose confidence in the strength of life, have made me feel vulnerable in the face of performance. 6 deaths. 1. My brother's son died at 18 months. His cold, soft skin, his cold, blonde hair, as he lay in that coffin in his little pajamas. The horror of a child's death. 2. My father got cancer. The operation would save him. He went into intensive care. He would recover. He got weaker. He died. It felt as though a chunk of my existence came crashing off me, like when a big slab of ice breaks away from a massive iceberg. 3. My mother got cancer. I was her caretaker. Day in, day out, I held her hand as the pain grew bigger and as her world grew smaller. It felt as though I was accompanying her down a dark, deep, narrowing tunnel to her end. 4. My husband's beautiful sister got cancer. There was hope, then there was none. The brutality of her tragic death at age 47. The treachery of being robbed the opportunity to be a mother to an 8-year-old boy. Oh, how my husband and I mourned the loss of these 2 lovely ladies. We wept. We loved. We got pregnant. I was expecting 2 identical twin girls. I could see them on the scans holding hands in the hospital. Extraordinary. 5. Audrey suffered brain damage during the 6th month of pregnancy. She died a medically assisted death in utero. Her stronger sister was saved though, until 6 further complications. 1 month later, I was rushed to hospital. My waters broke. There, we waited for her. Weeks passed. Constance was doing okay. But the contractions came too soon. On the 9th of February, 2016, I gave birth to a stillborn Audrey and to Constance, a beautiful little girl who died peacefully in my arms. 6 lives, 6 times hope, 6 times death. But there's a 7th story. 1 hour after childbirth, a violent reaction, the onset of septicemia, I took a turn. No time for tears, no time for sorrow. The vivid fear of my own death. Now I was the one in intensive care, this time as a patient, not as a guest. But I survived. I am here. You can hear me. I've got legs to stand on, a gut to feel, a voice to speak, and hands to reach. And that I owe to my husband for his love and for his presence through tears of joy and tears of sorrow. I owe it to my children, Oscar, Greta, Rose, to whom I say, it is a privilege to be your mother. I owe it to yoga, I owe it to dancing for making me feel alive. I owe it to my friends, I owe it to my colleagues for helping me gain confidence in the strength of life. I owe it to this speech, this journey on learning to speak with impact, for challenging my vulnerability in the face of performance. And I owe it to you. Yes, to you, my listeners, for the strength of your listening has empowered me to speak. For without listeners, there are no stories to speak of. Without listeners, there are no stories of life. No life at all. This journey on learning to speak with impact started last year on a cold winter morning. It started with the candid interest in following a course on public speaking, and with the modest aspiration of picking up a trick or two on how to improve my speech. From word searching to soul searching emerged listening. Careful listening to the strength of life all around me. Not to do so would be irreverent. And today, lucid, I spring with the resolution to never ever silence or stressfully rush my speech again. To do so would be a shameful waste of life. My new journey of speech has only just begun, and what better way to celebrate this new beginning than with you, listeners. So thank you for all that you teach me.